The first season of Obi-Wan Kenobi just wrapped up with its 6th and final episode, and it's pretty safe to say that the show delivered on most of its promises. We'd never have gotten the show without the prequels though, and Disney just put out a new featurette taking a look back at the franchise with the stars. Here's what Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen had to say after reflecting on their time in the prequels. Right at the top, Hayden Christensen can't choose a favorite moment from his Star Wars career. It's been a while since the prequels came out, and it looks like fans aren't the only ones who missed seeing McGregor as Obi-Wan Kenobi and Christensen as Anakin Skywalker. The two actors seem to have some really fond memories of their time working together, and it's honestly pretty sweet to see them admit it. Both actors agreed that they had so many great memories from their time shooting that it was really hard to pick a favorite. Christensen even went through a whole list of scenes from his stint on the prequels. The actor began the featurette by remembering his first scene in a Star Wars movie. Then he mentioned the scene that taught him how to use a lightsaber, his first meeting with McGregor on set, and of course, the iconic fight scene from episode 3. You know the one we're talking about. Christensen says the epic duel between Obi-Wan and Anakin on Mustafar was actually the scene he had the most fun playing with, even though that sequence is one of the most intense moments in the entire Star Wars saga. It sounds like Hayden handles pressure pretty well. Honestly, we know he gets a ton of flack for his performances in the prequels, but he's still a part of the franchise, and fans love seeing how happy he was to come back. Secondly, it looks like the two actors have a pretty wholesome relationship. The two obviously share a bond on screen, but it looks like they're pretty close in real life too. They might not be Jedi partners anymore, but the duo still found it exciting to get back together. McGregor even said that the day the two walked onto set felt like something else. Christensen backed that up by saying the opportunity to reunite with his co-star pretty much blew his mind. And honestly, who doesn't love a reunion? The actors might have reunited as scene partners, but the story's circumstances were completely different this time around. Ewan has said that coming back to Star Wars after the prequels was a really special moment for him, but he's also said that squaring off against Darth Vader was a whole new experience. It was the first time in his career that he was going up against such an iconic character, and it sounds like it was pretty terrifying. Honestly, we can't think of anyone in Star Wars scarier than Darth Vader. Most fans will agree that the biggest draw of the Obi-Wan Kenobi series was getting to see Darth Vader return as the big bad. The character's inclusion offered the show a chance to rectify some plot holes while also giving Hayden a chance to redeem himself after the prequels. The poor guy was a little inexperienced when he entered the Star Wars universe, and those scripts weren't doing him any favors. Anyone remember how much Anakin hates sand? It's pretty safe to say that Darth Vader's return was worth it, even if he did mess up the continuity a little. The series pit Obi-Wan against his former apprentice, and the interactions between the two characters were pure gold. We've never seen McGregor share the screen with Darth Vader after all. Apparently, the baddie was so menacing that Ewan actually got scared. So here's what McGregor confessed in an interview. The actor started by saying that he'd never met the Sith Lord in person before. He obviously had to rehearse the scene beforehand, but he'd always done it without having to face his scene partner in costume. That's why when Vader appeared behind him for the first time, he felt like he was 6 years old and scared for his life. McGregor went on to say that he'd never looked Vader in the eyes before, which was one reason why he felt so scared. And to be honest, we don't blame him. Seeing Darth Vader walking toward you in the dark would scare anyone. It wasn't just Vader who gave Ewan a fright though. George Lucas only used CGI stormtroopers in the prequels, so the Obi-Wan actor wasn't used to seeing them up close and personal. Seeing them with their blasters pointed at him actually gave McGregor a jolt. He laughed about it during the interview, but it sounds like Obi-Wan had a pretty stressful time on set. Thankfully though, the finished episodes were definitely worth it, and they gave us a pretty awesome matchup. The season finale actually featured a new lightsaber duel between Obi-Wan and Darth Vader, and it was epic. Now, we know Obi-Wan spent a lot of time with Anakin in the prequels, but Darth Vader honestly feels like a different character. That's why fans are considering this the first encounter between these two characters in the official Star Wars canon. It definitely kept Obi-Wan Kenobi feeling fresh, and we think this is what the actors were referring to when they mentioned how awesome it was to work together again. Before this point in the series, it didn't really feel like Christensen was playing the Sith Lord. Sure, we got that flashback scene with Obi-Wan and Anakin, but that's basically the only time we actually saw Hayden in the first 5 episodes. Now, you might not know this, but there were actually 2 stuntmen playing Darth Vader in all his scenes. And since the creators had to bring James Earl Jones back to voice the Sith Lord, it felt like Christensen had very little to do. Thankfully, the finale changed that. After Vader's helmet was cracked open, we got a glimpse of Christensen underneath the mask, and he even got to recite a few lines. We finally got to see him play the Sith Lord and share a scene with McGregor. And it's pretty obvious that it's this scene that the actors have been referencing in all the featurettes. What's more, it left fans feeling satisfied, and all these featurettes focusing on the prequels definitely set them up for it. Let's have a look at some other Star Wars news now. First up, director Taika Waititi has shared an update on his Star Wars movie. It looks like Waititi's super busy schedule is making it difficult for him to commit to the film. The New Zealander is working with Marvel and Lucasfilm on his directing projects while also acting in movies like Lightyear. Disney loves him, but it seems like the director's got a bit too much on his plate to also make a Star Wars movie. Lucasfilm is optimistically hoping for a 2023 release date for the mystery movie, but Waititi's having some major doubts about that. The director chalked out his 2022 timeline in a recent interview, and he mentioned some commitments in New Zealand that are going to keep him occupied till the end of the year. The project was announced all the way back in 2020, so it's been a long time coming. He's been pretty productive otherwise though. His latest film, Thor: Love and Thunder, comes out this July. Lucasfilm, on the other hand, is focusing on live-action TV for the time being. They've got a slate of promising releases lined up, so they can afford to wait. Next up, we'll get back to Obi-Wan Kenobi, which initially had a way darker ending in mind for a major character. We're sure you'll remember Reva, one of the show's big bads. The character, played by Moses Ingram, made a huge impression on fans through her time on the show. Her quest for revenge was super compelling, and it gave all her scenes some major tension. In the end, Obi-Wan forgave her and let her go, but that's not how her character arc originally ended. And if the reports are anything to go by, Reva's got a big future ahead of her. Apparently, Obi-Wan Kenobi's success has made the studio want another season, and it looks like Reva will play a bigger role in the new episodes. The character's original fate had her dying at the hands of Vader in order to save Obi-Wan, but Disney had the scripts changed to let her live. Her new ending has us thinking there's a lot more development in store for her. Finally, we've gotten word that Obi-Wan Kenobi broke another record with its finale. The show was already Disney Plus's most watched show globally when it premiered in late May, but it just casually broke another record on its way out. The last episode of the season drew some crazy numbers, and Disney is definitely paying attention. According to the data, the Kenobi finale drew in 1.8 million viewers over 5 days. This also makes the episode the most watched Star Wars finale ever released on Disney Plus. That's pretty crazy, but considering how good the show is, we're not surprised. That's a wrap for this video. What did you think of the featurette? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.